Alright, ladies and gentlemen, how are you guys doing today on this Tuesday, March the 23rd, 2021? Thank you for joining me here tonight for another metallic episode of Music of Destruction. Bringing you guys the very best in metal-related content right here on YouTube, and this is the only metal channel you'll ever need. If you missed anything in the past week, click that eye in the upper right corner, get caught up on all my latest videos. I would sincerely appreciate it. If you'd like me to review anything, make suggestions in the comment section below. I do get to my subscriber requests, but I do mix up some of my reviews with your requests, of course, because I have a very extensive metal collection. No slam, deathcore, metalcore, or modern tech death, please and thank you. And remember to subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss anything. You are looking at the hardest working metal channel on YouTube, and nobody's going to give it to you like I do. Passionate, raw, uncensored, unbridled, and unfiltered. So guys, welcome to Album Review Tuesdays here on the channel. So tonight we are going deep into the Australian underground with Entsetzlich-Suicidal Reflections, released in 2008 on Wolfsvuur Records, and I got copy number 68 of 99. Azathoth is the only consistent member of the band. He has worked with session musicians on some of his releases. That of the most recent, of course, is session guitarist Osculum, who joined back in 2013 and, as far as I know, is still an active member to this day. Now, one thing I'm going to say right away to you guys is if you do not enjoy primitive, stripped-back, raw black metal, then you're going to absolutely hate this, because what we have here is not technical, structured, or even palatable for most people. Instead, what is offered here is pure expressionism and primitive, cold atmosphere, and oftentimes this borders on black ambient with various noise influences. There is, however, black metal here as the framework of this release. Now, as far as a biography on Entsetzlich goes, I could only find a very brief origin on the project. Entsetzlich is an Australian metal band formed in 2006 by Azathoth, and Azathoth recorded a demo of untitled songs in 2006 that were eventually abandoned and never released due to their low quality. After the release of his first official demo, additional guitars were provided by Omen in earlier releases, and subsequently later on, Osculum joined the project as mentioned earlier. He has also had various other projects with some releases under the following names: Torchbearer, Ethereal Mist, and Cryptus. He has since put these projects to rest, and as far as I know, he solely is concentrating on Entsetzlich at this time. Alright, so let's get into the review now, shall we? This black abyss opens with the Ethereal Misery of Reality, and it's a dark ambient passage of various ominous ambience and textures that resemble a complete mental breakdown process into the mind of a schizophrenic with madness ensuing, almost like the frayed rope of sanity is slipping away with every passing moment, and you're left with nothing but pure blackness and despondency. And this 3 minutes and 4 seconds of pure audial hell, and it's also extremely captivating and bone-chilling in its overall hypnotic and distressing effect. This is an excellent ambient opener to the album. Next up, we have Tortured by an Unseen Evil, and this is some of the most raw, primitive, stripped-back black metal I've ever heard in my life. I mean, think early Darkthrone. That's what you got here, and I'm pretty sure that Azathoth would admit that Darkthrone were one of his prime influences, because you can clearly hear it on his releases. Now, the guitars are so razor thin that you'd swear it's like running razors across your flesh to expose the bone below, while the ice-cold blizzarding winds will freeze you from the inside out, all over a repetitious primitive drum pattern with little variation. There is a slower section that adds some dynamics, but it just adds more melancholic schizophrenic paranoia, and on top of all of that is Azathoth's shrill, frog, croak-like vocals that will drive you into the depths of his own personal madness and despair-filled insanity. Now, some people may be put off by these croak-like vocals, but I think they fit with his music absolutely perfectly, and you can certainly tell that it's him doing them. Obviously, Azathoth is very unique, but it also separates him from so many other artists vocally and musically as well. Now, the goal here is obviously atmosphere and pure misanthropic trajectory, and it works in ways that are going to be unlistenable and unfathomable to the average metalhead. This is an absolute killer song. Next up is the silent, repetitive murmur of the lifeless. And well, that's exactly what it sounds like, ladies and gentlemen. It's pure madness-driven psychosis, almost like the dead are pounding on the door to the living, and the guitar and drum work is so fucking primitive and buried that it sounds like it's emitting from the darkest abysmal hole in the center of the earth. And the vocals are filled with a deep reverb that also creates this horrific sounding effect, as his vocals are even with the rest of the mix, however, but it also literally renders him completely inhuman sounding, as does this entire 7-minute and 26-second composition of absolute darkness, insanity, and despondency. This is almost ritualistic black metal in a sense because of how juxtaposed it is and unstructured the whole fucking thing really is. This is literally the sound of death and angry spirits longing to connect back with us in order to convey their trapped despair and isolated purgatory. This is easily one of my favorites on the goddamned record. Killer track here as well. Next up, we have another psychotic trip into schizophrenic hell with undying visions of sadomasochistic thoughts. And if you thought the last track bordered on unlistenable insanity, just wait until you hear this, and we are going to preview this track. Now, the best way I can describe this psychotic madness is a complete mental breakdown of the most intense and unfathomable variety. Because what we get here in terms of music is pure emotional energy and output with little regard for creating palatability or riffing. Instead, it sounds like a hallucinatory journey into an insane asylum with Azathoth's desperate howls and snarls of deep-seated pain, torture, agony, and misanthropy that literally borders on homicidal and suicidal collapse. But it works so goddamn well that you will become disturbed by this album's emissions. So guys, let's check out Undying Visions of Sadomasochistic Thoughts right here on Music of Destruction. Enjoy. And we are back, guys, and yeah, this is an absolute killer track. Next up, we have Forever Losing Grasp on Existence, and this one sounds like Azathoth has completely left the earth and is now wandering in a black void of ice, blizzarding winds, and nothingness. Complete isolation and stillness that beckons the soul forth to release one from this world, as its black ambience of terror and coldness draws you into its hollow void of abysmal nothingness and desolation. And this is one of the best dark ambient pieces he's ever created. Its atmosphere is compelling, and I cannot find one single thing to complain about or find lacking in this piece, or for the entire album for that matter. This is killer black ambient. Next up, we have Nocturnal Suicide, and for its 1 minute and 47-second duration, it sounds as if Azathoth has gone even further into desolation and despair of death itself, which lays beyond even the darkest of human experiences and conceptions. And in death, there is another level of emotional blackness and duress that he tries to convey through his misery and hatred, and it works so well, even in its short duration. Finally, there's another black metal ambient piece with the outro, and it's 3 minutes and 42 seconds of pure loss and confusion, and it's absolutely crafted with perfection and completes this journey into nothingness and despair in a way that only he could achieve with his visions and expression throughout this 30-minute offering. I also feel that 30 minutes is more than adequate for this EP because the themes that are here work well, and I think the duration of each of the compositions here serves its intended purpose. And then now we come to the final verdict for Entsetzlich-Suicidal Reflections, and it's getting a 9 out of 10. This is a must-buy for any fan of raw, primitive black metal, and you cannot go wrong with anything Entsetzlich has released, as he's one of the most prolific and determined strict elites in the black metal underground. Alright, so there you guys have it. Another album review here on Music of Destruction. I hope you enjoyed tonight's premiere. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, turn on the bell so you don't miss anything. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, Music of Destruction there. My Teespring store is open, teespring.com/music-of-destruction. Go check out all of my awesome merch. If you want to support the channel other ways, you can do that through Patreon. The Seed episode 31, The History of Thrash Metal. Part 1 up on the channel right now. Your support going to new things, camera, lighting, effects, bigger green screen, better microphones, all that awesome stuff. $5 a month gets you access to all the podcasts. Go check that out. Colton, James, and myself working on our amateur horror film right now for Imperial Creative Assembly. However, Reviews on the Run is our movie and game review channel, and we are putting together a studio out in the living room for that. So let's check out a clip he made recently of what we're going to be covering on the new YouTube channel.
Sorry, guys.
How do you know?
Looks like I lost him. There's no sign of him anywhere.
Spook me, Doc.
And we are back. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, share the video. We'll see you for Album Ranking Wednesdays. Cheers, everybody. Have a great night.